to another video on the channel. Today I'm going to do my championship score predictions for this weekend. Obviously it is a big weekend of football. There's a few games in there that are massive games towards the top of the league. Obviously this is the first game after the transfer window as well. Obviously it is transfer deadline day today. I am recording this in the morning, so I don't know what signings would have been done by the end of today. But, you know, it's a massive game. Obviously, like I say, it's the first game where new signings will be involved. Obviously, some transfers that will be made today could be used over the weekend. But not just that, there's some fixtures in there that are really important for those at the bottom and down at the bottom. Obviously, the first game is on Friday night. It's Preston versus Derby. Going into it, Preston are sat 16th in the league. Derby sat 6th. Stoke go into it. Preston go into it after beating Stoke 2-0 away. So that is a really good win for them. We go into it after beating Reading at home 2-1, but beating Accrington Stanley in the cup. So, you know, we're having a good cup run. We're also doing well in the league. We're in the playoffs, so we'll take that. But Preston are a side you'd think that would be doing a lot better than this. I think at the start of the season they'd have been expecting to be in the playoffs at a minimum, maybe pushing for them. But they're struggling in 16th this season. And in this game, I can see it either being a 1-1 draw or a 2-1 either side. I just think that Preston are going to be up for this game. And it's a game where they need a point at a minimum. We also can't afford to lose this game, being in where we are in the league, being just outside of the playoffs. This is a point minimum. You know, we'll be upset with that. We really need a win from it, but we'll see what happens. And then moving on to Saturday, the first game is Birmingham versus Forest. This is a game where both sides are fighting for the playoffs. Birmingham sat 12th in the league. You know, I think at the beginning of the season they'd be taking this sort of position because I don't think many of their fans expected to be this high in the league. But they go up against Forest, who are sat 9th. Obviously, they've had quite a good season this season. They started off really well. They were in the top 4 sort of thing. But then Aitor Karanka left and all that sort of business. And they're sat 9th in the league when I thought they would have been higher. Obviously, they've got Martin O'Neill in charge, with Keane being appointed as his assistant this week. So hopefully for them, they've had a few things sorted in the changing rooms. Obviously, at the minute, they're having Ben Osborne being linked with Stoke, whereas James McLean will be coming in for him. But for this game, I've said a 2-1 Forest win. I just think that Forest will win this one. I think they'll have the stronger side. I think they're going to be up for it with their new management taking over. But it will be another close game. It might even finish as a 1-1 or a 2-1 Birmingham win. But we will find out come tomorrow. The next game is Brentford versus Blackburn. Obviously, Blackburn came up from League One this season. They sit 8th in the league while Brentford sit 18th. Brentford are another side, though, that you would have thought at the beginning of the season they'd be higher than they were. To be fair, I thought at the start of the season they might have been just outside of the playoffs, but they are really struggling this year. And for this game, I've said a 1-1 draw. I just think that Blackburn would take a draw away from home. You know, they're above where they expected to be in the league. And I just think that Brentford will hold them at home to a draw. So we'll see on that one. Then moving on to Bristol City versus Swansea. I've said this one to finish Bristol City 2-1 win. Obviously, Bristol City is at 7th, while Swansea is at 11th. Bristol City are a side that did well last year as well, but they just couldn't do it. This year, they've got a really strong side, you know. They've got the likes of Vyman, Palmer. They've got a really strong side this year. And I can see them being thereabouts for the playoffs. Swansea are a side that just come down from the Premier League this year and probably will be expected to be higher than what they are. But I just think Bristol City will win this one. They've got the home advantage. Obviously, Bristol City will be up for this one, and I just think that they're going to win it 2-1. Moving on to the next game is Hull City versus Stoke City. Obviously, Stoke City are a team that's come down from Premier League. They are way below where they expected to be. Stoke's at 15th in the league while Hull are sat 13th. Obviously, Hull have picked up a bit of form at the minute and seem to be climbing up the table. Stoke have not really done well this year at all. under Gary Rowett, they didn't really do well under him. Now they've got the new manager in. They're still waiting for things to happen there. But I've put a 1-1 draw for this one. I think that Stoke will go there and get a draw. Hull, I think if they get a draw, they'll be happy. Stoke is still a good side and they're under new management. So Stoke's new manager will be looking for a win in this one. Then Ipswich versus Sheffield Wednesday. Ipswich is at bottom of the league, 24th, while Sheffield Wednesday is at 17th. Obviously, this is a game where both sides want the points, to be fair. I've put 1-1 draw for this one as well. I think with the signings that Ipswich have made, they'll be able to get a draw out of this one, but I just don't know if they'll be able to get the win. They might even get the win with a 1-0 or a 2-1 win, but we'll see. Obviously, Ipswich are a side that we didn't expect to be bottom of the league at least. You'd have thought someone like Rotherham or Bolton. But yeah, I think that Ipswich will get a draw out of this one, maybe a win, and climb back up the table like they need to. Then the next game is Millwall versus Rotherham, another game that is important for both sides. But I can only see a Millwall win here. Going to the Den is not easy at all, no matter who you are. And not just that, Rotherham really don't have good away form. Their home form is better. So I've gone for a 1-0 Millwall win. Obviously, Millwall sat 19th while Rotherham is sat 21st. So like I say, points for either side are vital in this game. And I just think that Millwall will carve out a 1-0 win. Then the next game is Reading versus Aston Villa. Obviously, Reading is sat 22nd in the league, whilst Villa sat 10th. Again with this one, both sides need the point. Villa are expected to be in the playoffs as a minimum this year. But obviously they didn't have the greatest start under Steve Bruce. We'll see what happens in this one. But I've said a 2-1 Villa win. I just think that Villa will get the win out of this. I think they'll go and get a 2-1. It'll be close. But I can't see Reading getting anything out of this one. Then Sheffield United versus Bolton. Obviously, Sheffield United sat third. They're having a cracking season this season. Last year, they did really well as well. They got into the playoffs, but unfortunately for them, dropped out at the last minute sort of thing. But they're coming up against 23rd place Bolton. Obviously, they're having problems on and off the pitch, not being able to pay for their players' wages, etc. And I've said a 4-0 Sheffield United win for this one. Obviously, they're at home, and points in this game is massive for them in their attempt to finish in the playoffs, maybe promotion. Like I say, new signings for them as well. So I think they'll win this one 4-0. And then we've got Wigan versus QPR. Obviously, Wigan is at 20th. So, points for them in this is massive. Obviously, making new signings they've made. And I think they'll hold QPR to a 0-0 draw in this game. Obviously, not so long back, they had really good home form. I just think they'll hold QPR to a 0-0 draw in this one. Obviously, QPR are doing better. I believe they're sat 9th in the table, I can't remember now. But they're doing better than what everyone would have expected. When you see now, they started off the season under Steve McLaren. They really didn't do well at all. And then the final game of the weekend is really the biggest game of the weekend. It is Leeds United versus Norwich City. Wow, this is the biggest game of the weekend. Obviously, Leeds is sat first while Norwich is sat second. And there isn't much between the two sides. But I had to even predict this one. I'm going to say a 2-2 draw or a 3-2 either way win. It's massive for both sides. This really will point out who's going to win the league. But we'll see what happens. But yeah, thank you for watching, guys. Do make sure you like and subscribe and press the bell to get notified when I do upload. And comment your score predictions below for all of them, or if not, just your team. And thank you for watching, guys. I'll never win.